in the jungle. Mazarine, the new man in that mid lane for now. Woolite as the AD carry and Unlimited on support.
On the red side, we do have SK Gaming with Freddy in the top lane, Svensson in the jungle, Jesus as the mid laner, can depend on AD carry, and of course Enrated is the support.
Before the picks and bans, let's see who you guys at home think is going to come out on top. According to LOLesports.com, no surprise on this one, 83% of you have given it to SK Gaming.
As we just said, heavy favorites going into the game here. And they need to win, because again now, Alliance picking up a few wins, even when they're actually not even supposed to win, or when they're falling behind, they can even pick up wins now. So SK Gaming, if they want to hang on to this, or try to go for the top spot, they need to win these games.
Well, the fans were right in the last game. Only just 53% I think it was for Alliance. They did manage to win that game. Don't think anyone was expecting that game.
Nope.
The fastest European LCS game as well, in the spring and summer. 23
minutes.
Yeah.
Saying, you know what, we're just going to pace race.
It kind of caught everyone off guard.
A little bit.
And Yellowstar even just tweeted out and said, well, that just happened. That was not what I was expecting.
It's the worst feeling, of course, sitting back
errors,
there like, communication.
So, picks and bans about to get underway. What are we expecting here? We've seen Braum in the last 2 games. Is he going to be picked again? Will it get through?
Well, so he's been a strong champion so far, but not a champion I would consider to be overpowered per se. And I think a lot of the players agree that he's a good champion, and he's definitely worth picking early on here, but we still need to see more to really decide. So early on, 3 junglers band away here. They are the top ones, so simply means we're going to see some new junglers here, unless, of course, it's the jungle Yori from Airwax.
Yeah, that opens things up completely there. Lee Sin, Elise taken out, Cassidy in the final ban for Wolves. Kog'Maw, of course, aimed at Woolite. He's played a fantastic Kog'Maw in the last few games. Evelyn was taking away that final jungle. Last ban for SK Gaming. Will it be a mid laner?
Jax is still open here. LeBlanc is open, of course. We
Twitch.
see if we run Braum, Twitch. A lot of potential first picks here for Copenhagen Wolves. Let's see if they want to get an early comfort pick for Mazarine in this mid lane here to make sure he can perform, or if they want to go for something for Woolite, or maybe, of course, a Jax pick.
Wow. Even Youngbuck's face is just like, what? Why are you banned Vlad against me? Okay. Have you seen my Vladimir performances in the last few games?
Please. Flame his lane.
We've got to enjoy the game. Jax, of course, was locked in, but Youngbuck... And I
think they're happy.
His own facial reaction said everything for me there.
But this was basically SK Gaming saying, we don't want to ban anything as our last ban, so we're just going to take something we don't expect him to play anyhow, and just ban away Vlad, and of course Copenhagen Wolves instantly just locks in the Jax.
Well, there's a number of options for this one, and a lot of teams like to call it as leave multiple OP champions available. So obviously gives SK a number of options. Will they go for maybe a Twitch, a Thresh in there? Of course, we've seen Enrated playing Thresh, I think the last 3 games running now.
Lucian is open for Candy Panda. Of course, he's played multiple different AD carries. And if they actually lock in Twitch, I think it's more to take it away.
Braum, of course. We forgot the fact that he was left open.
True. Lock in here for Enrated with the Braum. We just saw him last game with the Twitch. Very strong at setting up ganks, of course. And as long as Svensson, who normally enjoys ganking the bot lane, comes down and visits a few times, they should be able to pick up a few kills.
So Twitch Braum, we just saw it last match. Worked very well for Reckless and Yellowstar. Not so well in the 23rd minute. Of course, Copenhagen Wolves, they have a number of options. Lucian almost certainly could be the AD carry, but it is Woolite. He's played a lot of Graves as well in the past. Of course, the fact that Kog'Maw was taken away from him, I wonder if he's going to switch, keep on Lucian. Lucian works very well against Twitch.
Yeah, of course. We just saw the laning phase in the last game with Lucian. You're very strong against Twitch. You trade really well with him early on, and you can just put a lot of pressure on him. Should be the AD carry pick if they want to go for something safe. Otherwise, we might see Woolite go for something that can scale into the late game as well. Could be a Jinx. Maybe even a Sivir. No, there we go.
No, back to old, trusted, tried and tested, faithful, Thresh, and Lucian.
Such a standard lane these days. I mean, we see it all the time. Last split as well, we just pick pretty much every.
Well, look at that, 94%, 95% pick rate for Lucian. It's crazy.
Not been banned a single time.
Yeah. Nobody bans it, yet everybody plays it. Oh, no. Nevertheless, Renekton, this is a possibility. Freddy, of course, has a 100% win rate on that Renekton. I wonder if he's going to say it again. Don't let me down, guys. Jarvan in the jungle for Svensson. This is a champion he did play a lot when he played with you.
Exactly, and was a champion he was very good at, because he always knew when to go in for the team fight, to set up his ult here, and actually when he shouldn't do it, because often we see Jarvan go in, put down the ultimate, and forget to take it down again, and trap a teammate, and just end up actually doing a lot of harm to his own team. But the thing about Jarvan now is, he was of course changed a little bit. First of all, his W actually now only costs 30 mana at all ranks, so you can max it second and spam it away. Or he can go for his flag the E as a second max here if he wants to get some attack speed for the Twitch, of course, in the team fights. We need to see how he decides to play it. And of course, we have to remember the EQ combo, the flag, and then you Q onto it. It's very hard to hit now because it's very small.
Interesting. Jack's jungle, I believe, is going to be the choice. It could be Shyvana, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jack's jungle. And of course, we also have Orianna in the mid lane, which was Mazarine's main champion.
Yeah.
If now that I remember my stats back.
Gragas and Orianna, I believe, were the two for him.
Gragas kind of taken out of it, so Orianna has to be the fallback.
And it's just also generally a very safe laning champion here, and you want to farm up, you want to get to your team fight point, of course, land your ulti, put it onto Shyvana, put it onto the Jax who's jumping in the enemy team, and you just have a perfect shockwave and you can just set up a very beautiful team fight.
Well, Kayle was the final choice. He will be in the mid lane this time around for Jesus. We've seen it universally used. We've seen it as support back in the spring. We've seen it in the top lane. And in the last game for Wicked, 73% win rate for Kayle so far.
And this is something SK Gaming likes to do when they pick Renekton. They always take a mid laner who scales really well into the late game because they want to make sure, even though they do well early on with this Renekton pick, they want to have something for the late game. Just don't want to go full early game, full aggression, and just get outscaled. Therefore, the Kayle pick makes a lot of sense. With Twitch, of course, you have a very strong late game team fight now. So overall, SK Gaming, very solid, very standard picks, I would even say, for him. Renekton, of course, for Freddy in this top lane. We see it time and time again. And we just need to see what Svenskeren can do on this Jarvan and what Airwax can do on this Jax here. Of course, he needs a lot of time to build up, and Fatal Flare is nerfed.
We'll see how it works out now. Of course, the champions have been picked in. Do you still think SK Gaming will win this match? Tweet us at LOL Esports and use the hashtag CWWin or hashtag SKWin, and we'll see if any of you have changed your minds.
I definitely think SK Gaming won out on the jungle pick here with 3 junglers being banned away, just because Jarvan can do a lot more in the early game where Jax, we know he needs items. If he wants to become a split pusher, he needs the blade, he needs the Trinity Force. There's a lot of expensive items here you have to build up just by farming the jungle. So we need to see how he wants to play it, and if he builds Feral Flare or Elder Lizard now on the Jax.
And I'm looking at the teams, this is almost going back to, I wouldn't say spring, I would say summer 2013. This is the big bruisers, 2 bruisers on either side as well. A lot of AD carry. It's going to see how this one works out, ladies and gentlemen. The game is about to get underway. This is the final match of the week, of course. We're moving to London next week, so let's see how this one works out. The final game in the studios for now. Copenhagen Wolves going to be starting out on the blue side, and SK Gaming over on the red side. Can they keep up with Alliance, who now top the table with 8 wins, 2 losses? SK have to win this game after losing to Fnatic yesterday.
Let's see what SK Gaming decides to do early on here. Of course, they want to have Renekton against Shyvana. They want to use this very strong Renekton early on in the laning phase. But at the same time, it can be very risky for them to go against the Lucian and the Thresh in this bottom lane. So we need to see if they want to swap it up here. Try and get some farm on Candy Panda. Make sure he can get up towards the Blade of the Ruined King. And then he can really start to gank people left and right.
And Rated and Unlimited standing, staring just off of the side. Who wants to get the ward in the bush first? Unlimited doesn't fancy it. No pink wards being picked up. No reason really for them. Of course, Twitch is still there. It's going to be Rated that manages to get his ward down. No sweeping lenses at all, so no way of clearing that one out. But of course, it gives them knowledge that it is there. Of course, 71% of you still sticking with SK Gaming, so you're still thinking they came out on top after those picks and bans.
And the very strong thing as well for SK, once you get to team fights, if Svenskeren can log up multiple members from Copenhagen Wolves, it leaves a lot of time for Candy Panda to just stand up, rat-a-tat-tat, and spam it onto the members here. But of course, you can also turn around and say, Candy Panda, he doesn't have any jumps. And there's a Jax who's going to jump towards him, there's a Shyvana who's going to jump to him, with possibly the ball from Mazarin to just shockwave him and kill him instantly, or unless Jessup, of course, is very fast with his ulti.
Speaking of Jesus, I wonder how this is going to work out for him up against a new mid laner in the LCS. He's not played against, of course, before. After yesterday's performance, he's going to want to put in a good performance this time around. Going to have to try and prove himself, and how better to do it than up against a new player. But of course, that puts a lot of pressure on himself. You know, everybody should expect, certainly his team would expect him to beat Mazarin one-on-one.
Well, also it depends on the champions. Candy Panda are taking a lot of damage here early on.
They're going to try and turn it around there. Passive going down, and Limited taking 2 stacks on Walleye as well, but Candy Panda not following up that damage, not getting that stun down. Still very early level 1 fights here.
And Copenhagen Wolves are really taking full advantage of the fact they're 2 ranged against a melee support and a ranged AD carry, so they can get all this auto attack poke onto Unrated with him only responding with the Q.
Health pot's choked down. Candy Panda tries to sneak around the side and get some free damage onto Woolite. Woolite turning that back around very quickly. Very well played there. And this bottom lane is definitely the one to watch right now. Of course, we can see in the jungle Blue Buff being picked up and Rated getting flayed in, trying to get the stun back.
Level 2.
Limited. There is the level 2. First hit by the Copenhagen Wolves. SK immediately back away.
Just backing away. Need to wait now for the wave to actually hit the tower before they can get the level 2 point themselves. Meanwhile, though, mid lane, both of them just fairly standard farming. Level 3, of course, for Jess is just slightly hitting XP for now, but that's, of course, a lot of minions for Maserain to pick up.
So this mid lane, we'll see how it works out for Jez, as he is, as I mentioned, a lot of pressure on his shoulders for this one. He's got that sports psychologist, of course, SK have used, so he may be knowing about these situations. Airwax with that double buff, looking to try and take some advantage of this one. Svenskone is just off at the side on the Wraith, so he has support, but he's going to come around the back towards him. Jez is going to walk the correct way and just sneak around there. Counter-strike running out and easily walks back to lane.
There was no ward. Oh, actually a lot of trading down here in this bottom lane.
Candy Panda again taking a lot of damage from this one. Woolite trading very well so far. He's almost got himself a 10 CS difference built up. Woolite going aggressive on this one. Got to be careful he doesn't get stunned out towards that tower, of course. They could put damage back down on towards him. He wants to get that double hit combo.
Oh.
The hook not landing on Candy Panda, but again, that Lightbringer putting the damage down on Candy Panda.
They just poke away all the time. In the top lane, though, it's a different story. Of course, Renekton will be dominating the lane, and we just see it here. Freddy, full HP. Youngberg already taking quite a lot of damage, and Freddy, once again, going aggressive, trading, and then just jumping back to his own minion. That's the way you simply dominate your lane with Renekton here. So SK Gaming, while they're losing the bottom lane for now, they are, of course, winning the top lane. So it should be a lot about the junglers here. Will Svensson come down bottom lane to try and help out here, try and set up a few ganks, or will he go up top lane and just try and snowball Freddy?
Well, this is part of the holy trinity we saw in the spring, of course. Shyvana, Renekton, and Trundle to join them, of course. We haven't seen a great deal of this matchup. In fact, this is the first one that I could think of in the summer so far. And of course, Freddy, as he mentioned, 100% win rate on that champion, and Rated going aggressive, blocking off.
Missing the
Candy
Q
Panda
again,
there, Unbreakable does not go down quick enough and gets hooked in by the death sentence. Can they put the damage down in time? They do throw out that lantern. That forces SK to flash away, falsely trying to show that Airwax was there. Of course, he wasn't, but it's enough to force and call the bluff of SK.
And they traded Exhaust from Unlimited with the flash here from main Raiden. He's also forced now to go back to base. Candy Panda is too low himself to actually do anything other than just try and farm under the tower. So full control for Copenhagen Wolves. Airwax now coming towards this bottom lane. Candy Panda expected, already put a ward to spot him out.
Yeah, but I'm not sure he's going to get away quick enough if he comes around that corner. Ambush popped, he's going to walk away from that one, stealth up, and that does give themselves some free time on this tower. They're not going to take it down for now. They keep pinging out, they know that Airwax is there, and Candy Panda actually going to try and interrupt it. Jungler on jungler action, he has got the knock-up available. Candy Panda, if he sticks around a little too close, does get the slowdown. Now he's out of range. There's the lantern. Airwax is safe.
Forced to flash through, just in a little bit too deep, and just a very smart ward by Candy Panda, expecting him to come here so they have full vision, and therefore Svensson could just run from this mid lane down and force the flash away. So Airwax, you might see him just farm now for the next few minutes until the flash comes back up, unless of course he wants to try and find Svensson and fight him.
Well, Svenskon's taking advantage and stealing away the large Wraith and I guess two of the small ones as well. Ping comes out, and Maserain's like, yeah, he's here, but I can't do a damn thing about it because Jesus is all up in my grill once again as Jesus keeps that damage going down. Maserain having to play very defensive so far.
This is, of course, two members from Solo Queue who will have played against each other quite a lot. Maserain, of course, is a very high-rated player as well. Not sure if he's challenger, but at least very high up in Diamond 1. And therefore, Jesus will know at least something about him, and we've seen him last season. He's pretty much playing the same, seeing as he locked into Orianna again.
Yeah, changed his playstyle. Of course, it worked for him. It got him to the World Finals in the international wildcard team, GamingGear.eu. And of course, as I mentioned, they recorded that one victory.
Oh, there we go.
Coming down the bottom. N-rated, jump into the minion. Lantern goes down, but that's enough to pull him away. They didn't quite get the stun. You can see one more hit. It has just come off cooldown. Svenskone is going to back away. No, because Unlimited comes in, forces the flash. Happy with that, flag and drag.
Yeah, that was pretty much the best SK could actually get out of the situation. But once again, we saw in Rated use Braum the way you can do here in the lane. As long as they stand next to their own minions, or next to your minions, sorry, you can jump to your minion, get the first hit, land your Qs for the slow, and then set up the whole gank. We saw Yellowstar do it 2 times in the last game, giving 2 kills over to Reckless.
So Freddy in this top lane gone to the traditional triple Doran's blade. Of course, we saw Darian doing the same thing, but this is Freddy who kind of started the whole thing off. This is his standard Renekton play, and you can see how much of a bruiser he is against Shyvana this early on, of course, level 6 to level 7. Big advantage for Renekton at this time, stage in the game.
And he can basically just sustain in this lane here over and over again. He's very tanky in case the jungler even comes up to try and help out Youngbuck, and that's why he builds these triple torrents. Most likely going for Tiamat as the next item and then into tank. But we have seen him do a few different things here, but if he wants to continue to dominate lane, he could go for Tiamat.
Oh, to pop that Unbreakable down to block out the damage from Warlight there, getting that double tap on towards him. Again, nobody gone down in this game just yet. We're moving into the 8-minute mark. Still 10,000 apiece between two teams, and Mazarine happy to play the defensive farmer here. He's not going really anywhere past that mid lane river point, playing very defensive. He's going to get himself blue buff, as is Jez's over on the other side, so both mid laners have themselves their buffs. We'll see what they can do with it.
It's actually a very good point. He's letting Jez's just push the wave down every single time it arrives. It means it opens up for Jez's to rotate to a different lane if you want to try and set something up, while Mazarine is forced to stay at his tower and pick up the CS. So we could potentially see SK try and set something up with Jez's. I think for now though, they're just happy farming away. Of course, both mid laners scales really well into the late game, so they are happy just farming away.
Youngbuck's going to go towards that Sunfire Cape and rated again, getting hooked in. Happy to be popped that Unbreakable, but a little bit too early. Does manage to cover off the damage. It's Candy Panda that took a fair bit of it. Svenskern's going to come around the back of
flash.
Unlimited, caught out of position here. Will he go for Warlight instead? I think it's going to be Unlimited, the focus target. There's the stun, there's the lock-up flag and drag yet to be used. He's going to get caught out. That's going to be first blood. Svenskern takes it. Selfish jungler, as he calls himself.
So the flash was blown from the last gank Svenskern did without actually any danger, really. He just came in, no buffs at all, and in red already used everything. This time around, once again, Copenhagen had pushed SK all the way up to the tower, so it's easy for Svenskern to just walk in behind him and get here. A nice first blood.
Yeah, I mean, he was spotted. They had that ward in the river, but they were
Did he actually
so
jump the
far up
dragon?
lane there as well. Nobody walked past the one that's in the river, so he walked straight past that ward. They were just way too far up lane. Airwax having a look towards this mid lane, see if he can leap towards Jez's, but Jez's spots him out because there is that ward in the little bush just off the side, gives him vision, just above the bush. You can see the pink ward. Actually, I'm not sure if that would have spotted him. Well, there's just simply spider senses tingling now, I'm not too sure.
Well, Jez is down this mid lane, just keeps doing the exact same thing. Push the lane out, go over, do his Wraith camp again and again. So of course, we need to remember some of the CS he's picking up is the small Wraiths. They don't give too much gold, but still, he's extending the lead, getting a lot of gold. And rated back in his bottom lane here. Candy Pen is level 6 as well now, so now they can actually start fighting back.
Pounce is down there. Buildwater Cutlass is now picked up for Candy Panda. Has fell behind in CS, but the fact that he got that assist earlier on should be helping him out there. Svenskern looking to start.
He can do it again. Just jump over the dragon wall. He did the same thing before, and with this ward here in the river, it's too far up for Copenhagen to even spot him in time. Svenskern coming in.
Ultimate available. Pounces straight on towards Unlimited. Locks him up in that wall, and Unlimited is not getting out of this one. And rated with that ultimate. Unbreakable, stopping the damage going on Svenskern. It's another hit and run.
And this is simply Copenhagen Wolves for me showing they haven't played against a Jarvan for a long time, because once when you're against Jarvan, there's two very important wards. They have one of them in the small bush here because he can jump over the wall. The next one is just at the dragon, so you can see him run in to the dragon pit and jump over. Otherwise, what does it even matter if he can just walk behind you every single time? And 2 kills now for SK Gaming and a dragon because Svenskern can just jump the dragon wall.
Working out very well for them. The dragon will come down as well. That's going to give them a 2,000 gold lead, along with their 2-kill advantage. Still even in terms of lanes, no kills on the towers going down yet. Youngbuck's in trouble. Freddy taking a lot of tower hits there though with Dominus running, but it has, as you can see, taken Youngbuck very low on health.
Very low, and they can keep doing this. They can even send Svenskern up now if they want to go for a safe dive onto Youngbuck. Either just force him away from the tower or just straight up kill him. For now, things are looking very good for SK because Svenskern put all his focus on this bottom lane, helping them out. We knew they were going to fall behind, but of course with the ganks, like we saw in the last game, Fnatic did the exact same thing. Twitch will get some kills. The jungler will get some kills.
You can see there how it works, the bullying. Freddy bullies Youngbuck away, has to back off there. Hadn't got teleport quite up, which means he misses that complete wave of CS, which is why he's falling further and further behind at the moment. It's a 20 CS differential between the two. Ward coverage in the side there. Oh, look at that, in that bottom corner. Pink ward not spotted by that ward. That's why the new Summoner's Rift is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a small little advantage for SK, a little bit lucky I think we can say, but we actually see Airwax here going towards the Fatal Flare, even though it's very nerfed. I mean, most junglers would like to say...
Oh, that's harsh.
Oh, they could actually...
SK could see it, but Copenhagen Wolves couldn't. Yeah, we'll move on from that point. We'll move on swiftly.
Onto the game.
Instead, Unlimited.
Two junglers meeting
they've
each
learned,
other.
that's for sure. They've put themselves a ward in the tri-bush. They're not going to get caught out by that Dragon Flag and Drag this time around. Airwax trying to put damage down to Svensko and SK here in numbers. 3 members there. Enrated leaps across the Jesus' aid and will back away at the moment. So let's see where they're going to push. You can see the Rat returning to the bottom lane. Didn't quite have enough to complete the play to the Rune King. Meanwhile, Warlight, of course, very close to completing that Bloodthirst. That Mazarine, though, still being defensive in his mid lane, but you can see the damage that Jesus has worked down on that turret.
Every single time the minions will hit the tower, just 1 or 2 hits from Jesus, and he can just do it over and over again because there's no pressure. Airwax in his jungle. We talked about once he used the flash, he had to go back to jungle and just farm. Also, he built towards the Fail Flare, so he needs to farm. He can't help. Svensson on the other hand, just been ganking over and over.
Okay, at the moment, bottom lane still very even. Dragon, of course, was taken in the last time they got a kill, so that's going to be a while away for now. 160 to 134 CS in that mid lane. Svensko going for
needs to be careful.
Assist. He's going to get caught out. Counter-Strike will stun him up. Svensko taken very low from this one. Jesus is going to get close enough for the intervention. Could he turn this one around? There it is. It goes down just in time. He has to back away from this one. Youngblood could chase on towards him. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, Candy Panda's going to turn this one around. They get the stun on Warlight. Warlight slides out to safety. Meanwhile, top lane, Freddy takes down the turret. That's the first one of the game. SK with the advantages all across the map.
So Svensson here managed to get out, had to use both his ulti and the flash, but still, top tower is now gone. Mid tower is very, very low as well, so SK can just walk in, give it a few hits and pick it up. They just need to worry about this bottom lane, where Copenhagen is still putting some pressure.
So blue buff for Jesus, that's going to go across his way. Svensko creating opportunities, I feel, is the best way to put it for SK Gaming right now. Candy Panda onto Warlight once again. I haven't got the stun locked in this time around, popping out of ambush just a little too quick.
Still though, they're responding back at least to the damage, and everything was used when you look at the ultimates from Copenhagen was in the last exchange. Of course, the same for SK Gaming actually. Everything was popped. For now, they're just farming and waiting for them to respawn, or maybe waiting for the junglers to come down and help.
Well, at the moment, of course, it is SK Gaming with the lead, but don't rule the Copenhagen Wolves out yet. They have that Jackson jungle. You said it's going to take a long time to get going.
A long time.
You can see he's picked up that Feral Flare. He's got to stack that to 30, and that takes a long, long time. Mid-turret is going to go down. That's the second one of the game for SK Gaming, continuing their gold advantage. You can see it's almost 4,000 now, and SK Gaming slowly but surely starting to crush out Copenhagen Wolves. And you know, we talked about SK, how weak they've been in the early stages of the game. They've got a 4,000 gold advantage coming out of lane phase. This is a big, big problem for Copenhagen Wolves.
Definitely helped the fact the 2 solo laners have been so strong for SK, and then the fact that Svensson could put all his focus on his bottom lane, giving the kills they needed. And of course, again, we keep talking about this Jackson in the jungle. He needs more than time. He needs some kills as well if you want to become a split pusher. He needs the blade, of course. Even the Trinity Force. Youngblood though, going aggressive onto Freddy.
Well, there is a big minion wave
Jax
there
coming.
onto Freddy. You can see the damage going down towards him. Jax is coming. Freddy, not too worried about it. Clears out the entire minion wave and just chills on in the top. Goes on farming in the top.
Sure. I mean, why not? Youngblood already backed away and Jax was spotted out. Actually, it wasn't. It was the own board from Copenhagen Wolves, so I'm not sure if he actually saw Jax, but just backed away. Now he needs to be careful.
Now he needs to be careful. Goes in, face checks on the bush there. Good leap strike, counter strike. Freddy in trouble. No Dominus available, no slice and dice, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And he's going to go down. This time around, it's Airwax that does get a kill on the board.
Oh, nice interrupt here.
Interrupt the flag and drag Svensko and caught out. Good death sentence as well, but he leaps on towards Warlight. It's not going to be enough. The AD carry in there, Unlimited gets the kill.
Copenhagen Wolves here really showing as well. They're in this game here. Very nice interrupt from Unlimited onto Svensson when he tried to jump over the wall. And of course, Airwax, very important, picked up the kill in this top lane.
Quick 2 kills for the Copenhagen Wolves, pulls them equaling kills and 3,000 gold behind. Let's see what they can do with this. Can they turn any advantages from it? And of course, Dragon is going to be up in 17 seconds. Looking across. So not too long.
Again, just check it.
Great play.
He's waiting with the play, and then as soon as you see the flag, you just use it, stop him from jumping over, hook him, and therefore an easy kill for Copenhagen Wolves.
Would have preferred it to go to Warlight.
True.
Unlimited.
A fantasy point, so...
Well, I don't have. You have them actually, don't you?
No, I don't. Maybe he has himself.
Nevertheless, I'm sure he does. SK Gaming starting off the Dragon. They're going to get it for the second time. Undisputed, it seems here. I don't think Copenhagen Wolves are going to get too involved in that one. You can see Mazarine using that attack ball command to just get a peek on that. So, gold-wise, again, 4,000 back to SK, keeping everything in objective control their way.
And I don't think there was a timer on the Dragon for Copenhagen Wolves because they were actually moving towards it, but just way too late, so SK had already killed it. And of course, the first Dragon was after the gank in the bottom lane. There was no wards for Copenhagen Wolves. And therefore, SK Gaming should be happy, even though giving up 2 kills. Need to be a little bit careful here, and Reddit also taking some damage.
Unbreakable doing its job, blocking out the culling. He gets hooked with the death sense. He's going to turn it back around with his ulti. Teleport coming in. He has to flash away from this one. Is he going to get away safe? Airwax is closing the gap. Where you got to go, N-rated? He's going to get locked up. Tries to jump on towards him. Candy Panda could have done him some favors to walk away, so he could have used his passive to get to him. Little confused by that play there.
Would have died to Airwax for sure. I mean, he could have leap strike onto them with the counter strike, and Copenhagen also just getting the kills onto the right targets. Now we talked about how Airwax, he needed a few kills, just picked up 2.
Why did Candy Panda not flash across and you stand behind
Didn't have
me?
flash.
Ah, it's gone cooldown. I can't tell. Yeah, it is.
You're getting old, mate.
Haha, you're the one that needs glasses, buddy.
Very true.
So, Woolite pushing that bottom turret. He's going to take that one down. We do see, of course, SK trying to respond, stealing away that blue buff. I'm not sure if it's quite available to them just yet. Whether they got it, no, they didn't. It wasn't. It was the Wolves. That was all they managed to take from that one.
Meanwhile, though, SK just going to steal this blue buff. Onto Jez, you can just keep farming. I mean, look here, 200.
There's the blue buff.
There was it.
That's what they were after. Jez has managed to get that one. Of course, they took the inner turret while all those kills were happening. So, SK, despite losing 2 members down the bottom lane, despite losing that tower, they still come out ahead.
They get the global gold at least for the team, but they just need to be careful because, again, 2 kills onto the Jax. It's not exactly the guy you want to give kills because he can still become this split-pushing monster, and we know Renekton late game won't be able to stop him.
Well, forget Renekton. Jesus has got that Hurricane now.
Jesus might be able to...
Got 1,600 gold on him, of course, with that Nashor's Tooth, so he's building up yet more items. Jesus is going to become very, very strong. Mazarine, we haven't seen him really getting involved just yet, but of course he is on Orianna. He needs the items before he can start making the plays.
Just been playing very safe, didn't want to take any chances. Barely even traded with Jesus in this laning phase, just waited for the minions to come down, farmed them, want to go towards Death Cap, want to get his Void Staff, and then just become very strong when in team fights, where again, Copenhagen Wolves can jump in with Jax, with Shyvana, onto the likes of Candy Panda, onto Jesus, and try and blow them up because there's no jumps on either Kale or Twitch.
Singular pink ward being used by Unrated, clearing out 2 of the wards in that river, taking away the small bit of vision that Copenhagen Wolves tried to claim. Freddy in his top lane. You talked about how much of a monster he is, and Youngbuck actually a little split in between his decision making. He had the Giant Spell and armor on there, but didn't build it to the Sunfire Cape. Went instead towards the Pearl Ward and Cutlass, and now is kind of split between the 2 items, yet to complete either of them. Freddy, on the meantime, happy to just brute force his way through this one, but we're at level 13 now. Shyvana will start getting stronger.
Yeah, of course, especially once he actually completes the 2 items Youngbuck is building towards. I think he went for the Cutlass because he was expecting Airworks to come up again for even more ganks, so you have to slow from Shyvana. Airworks would join in with his Cutlass as well, and you just have 2 slows after each other to try and kill Freddy again. And now they are actually going towards his top lane. Remember, 2 Cutlass.
See whether they manage to jump on towards him. Sven's going. Oh, he's backed off. He's backed off. Freddy's on his own. They're going to have to tower dive it. Counter-strike not going to land, and Freddy happily walks away from that. Clever play. Stunned up Airwax before he could leap towards him.
Very, very smart play. Didn't just instantly dash away, so Airwax would just jump him. Of course, leap strike wasn't cooldown. Freddy wouldn't have known. You need to see though, again, SK, they have full pressure on this mid lane. Because Mazarine has been playing so safe, the tower is gone and just keep pushing it down, so they have all the vision, of course, from the minions. Now Freddy needs to be careful. Never mind.
No, Youngbuck's like, I'm off. I'm off, buddy. I'm not going to fight this one. Gets himself the Blade of the Rune King. Now he might fancy it, that's for sure. But while this is all happening, down the bottom area, you can see SK moving in, taking control of the jungle, pulling the wards down, and making a move on this bottom tower.
They should be able to pick up the tower. At least Candy Panda is already. Now Youngbuck going for Freddy.
This time around, Blade of the Rune King has been used. Airwax getting ready. Counter-Strike's going to be built up. He's going to leap on towards him. Can he catch him down? Dominus being used. Freddy trying to slide, trying to do some fancy work. Does manage to flash away. Airwax follows through. Oh! Didn't get the the second slice and dice off. Or the dice, I guess, in the slice. Doesn't matter either way. Down the bottom, you can see Unlimited's going to get caught out. SK on the second turret right now. They've taken down the outer one already pushing on towards the inner. Candy Panda blocking out some of that damage. But look at this. Copenhagen Wolves, ballsy play coming out. Go Baron. Oh, nice. Mazarine gets involved. He pulls himself a shockwave, catches two of them out here. And Rating's unbreakable, not going to block too much. Mazarine catches on towards that. Meanwhile, back at the Baron, you can see in the bottom corner, Copenhagen Wolves stole the march on SK Gaming. Jez is coming towards them though. It's only down half. This is dangerous play by the Copenhagen Wolves. Mazarine, Jez is going to come around the side. He's got that Rune-out Hurricane. He turns on towards Airwax, locking him down. The damage is big from Jesus. Takes down one. Intervention used. Can he get on the second? Here. Walleye joins the party. Intervention's run out. Baron is regenerating. It's enough done from SK. Teleport comes in from Freddy. It's a little late, not really needed. Close play by the Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, Jez is moving in here, really saving it for SK Gaming. Otherwise, Copenhagen Wolves would have picked up the Baron with the kill also onto Freddy. But we see the same thing happening here. Every time Copenhagen Wolves picks up a kill somewhere on the map, SK is in a different position, taking down a tower, maybe a dragon, always responding with some global gold. But we clearly saw the idea behind the cutters, of course, from Youngblood and Airwax. Just go up here, gank this Renekton again, pick up a kill where he won't be able to escape, and of course Freddy, a little bit unlucky, couldn't slice over the wall.
So Dragon spawns, and straight away SK on the case, and we'll see they're going to take this one away. Copenhagen Wolves trying to move into position. They may be a little bit too late here. We do see them maybe cutting some bully down. SK only got 2 members. Svenskone is now coming in there, and Rated doesn't quite land his skill shot. Mazarine, of course, with Shockwave back available. Copenhagen Wolves moving in.
No teleport for Freddy.
They may take this one away. Svenskone tries to slide in. Instead, Cataclysm jumps on towards it. Airwax manages to lock that up. Jez is taken low. Youngblood flashes in, takes down Jez, and Rated now locked low. That's going to be another turnaround kill. Mazarine goes down to Candy Panda. Candy Panda with Rat-a-tat-tat running on towards Youngblood. Freddy getting involved. He's a huge, gigantic crocodile, and he's all up in Copenhagen's face. Now you can see Freddy chasing on towards Youngblood. Where's he going to go? Walleye trying to put some damage around the side. He's going to get locked up, stunned. Svenskone comes in. He gets the kill. Back down the bottom. Youngblood still being pursued by Freddy. He's got slice and dice across the minions. Can't quite get the stun down on him. He should be safe. He's going to keep on running because he's got Svenskone and N-Rated to join towards him. The ultimate from N-Rated. Long-range downtown skill shot. Bounces him in the air. It's the ace for SK Gaming.
And this was such a risky play by SK Gaming at first. They started the Dragon for only 2 members. We see the replay here. There's no teleport on Freddy. He's running from the mid lane. Youngblood joining in already. But because Svenskone, he catches 2 members in his ulti here, they get a lot of damage onto him. And look at Candy Panda on the top of your screen. Untouched until Youngblood actually joins the fight. No ulti for him. He won't be able to jump towards him. So you just have this Twitch in the back line with Rat-a-tat-tat all over your team. And of course, Freddy, once he actually joins in, untouched as well, can just go and roll over Copenhagen Wolves. So it was a risky Dragon they started, but because Candy Panda was untouched, because Freddy could join in, managed to win.
Fantastic stuff from SK Gaming. And of course, that gives them a fairly hefty gold advantage. 9-7 in kills, 5-1 in turrets, and of course, more importantly, they have themselves a 7,000 gold lead. Everybody's going to go back and buy themselves some huge items. Let's take a look at those items. You can see Leasley Large Rod and Haunting Guy is picked up by Jez's this time around. Yosu's Ghostblade being picked up by Candy Panda. Massive, massive damage from everyone after that fight. Trinity Force actually picked up by Walleye as well, so he's completed that item. Next team fight could be a biggie, but let's see if they can close the gap. Airwax going in towards Svenskone, and he can lock in towards him. The whole Copenhagen Wolves moving in a good play. Svenskone locks them in. I'm not sure if he wants his fight. He's going to get caught out, but Candy Panda again at the side, doing rat-a-tat-tat, doing the damage down towards them. The rest of the SK Gaming, they need to respond to this. Jez is down the bottom lane. He's on the inhibitor turret. He's got that hurricane. He's got the damage. Now he has to back away, but it's enough for Copenhagen Wolves to step away from the mid turret.
But second time in this game here where Unlimited, he predicts the jump from Svenskone and just interrupts him with the flame. SK though, did start a Baron, now backs away because Copenhagen was just pushing up this mid lane.
Yeah, Freddy, you can't solo that one.
Behind though.
Candy Panda to help him out. Jez is coming around the side, catch on towards Wallet. Instead, you can see Copenhagen Wolves maybe try and turn this one around. Walleye goes aggressive. Jez is on towards him. Intervention pulled. Shockwave does nothing. And now Airwax is going to get caught out. It's a good counter-strike to turn it around. Jez has to back away from Youngblood. Manages to avoid the damage and turns it back around on towards him. Candy Panda down the bottom. He takes down Walleye. Youngblood running for his life. And again, SK Gaming come out 3-0 on top.
Copenhagen Wolves, they spotted Jez out of position just when everyone for him. He just popped the ult on himself. Rest of SK joined in. Once again, Candy Panda was left untouched in the fight. We just do so much damage. He's 5-1 and 2, and the SK Gaming getting the ward here, going for the Baron.
Ward cleared out, vision gone. SK Gaming going to pick this Baron up. There's nothing the Copenhagen Wolves could do. Airwax is still dead. It's going to be just about respawning before this Baron goes down. So SK in full control now. 11,000 gold lead.
And we talked about how Copenhagen Wolves had to team fight, where they need to put the ball from Mazarin onto either Airwax or Youngbuck and then jump towards Candy Panda, try and kill him instantly when the fight actually starts. They haven't done it a single time. In the Dragon fight, Airwax was caught in the ulti from Svensson, very far away, couldn't jump out, couldn't do anything in the fight. This one here, they were just completely out of position, and therefore SK Gaming are just winning these fights.
Every time I look at that little player camera of Candy Panda, he's coughing his little heart out. He's he's still 5-1 and 2 on that rat, but he really needs to get some medicine down him. I worry for his health. Yeah, I'm going to be taking down the white though, and he's got a lot of gold on him. Of course, the split between, he's gone for a Zeal and towards the BF sword, so he's not quite sure what he's going to complete next.
Could be the Infinity Edge for him, and of course Phantom Dancer, and just go full team fight damage.
Both at once, just complete them both at the same time.
Of course, I mean, why not?
Style.
Everyone wants around like 5,000 gold. It happens every day.
So SK Gaming making their move, of course. They've already put some damage on this bottom inhibitor turret. That may well be the next focus of Tiger. You can see SK clearing out the waves, so they have the ability to push in there. While this is all happening, Freddy's staying off on the side, split pushing in there. Jezzers, he's coming in from the mid lane. It's causing problems for Copenhagen Wolves in every single lane.
I'm just looking for a pick here for SK Gaming. If someone is out of position from SK, Braum can jump in with his passive, try and get the stun going. Svensson, of course, can lock down a target. If you look at the flashes here of Woolite, will have his dash. Flash should be ready very soon, but Mazarin could be the target. No flash, no hourglass.
Oh.
Freddy though, going for Youngbuck.
Freddy going straight in. You've got a little deep on this one, buddy. You need the rest of your team to help out. He's already used the flash, but what's happening across the side of the map? He's going to not get onto Youngbuck. He's just about to get away from this one. Freddy will get shut down by Airwax, but that's going to buy time for the rest of SK to lock in towards his tower. They're going to push on towards it. Unlimited locked on towards Enrated. Pops the ultimate, bounces him in the air. Unbreakable comes out, got the damage down. Jezzard just nukes down Unlimited. Doesn't have a chance in this one, but SK, oh, Flag and Drax when Svensson goes deep on that one. Gets himself the kill on Mazarin. You talked about how he may be the focus target. Youngbuck comes back out again. There's a lot of damage from SK, but they've got to be careful they don't go on too long, and they have to step out of this fight.
Oh, Woolite now dashes away here, has flash ready. SK really wants the tower.
They're taking it down, that's the inhib gone down. Svensson finishes the job on that one. The inhibitor will follow. Woolite gets slowed down quickly. He's got to be careful he doesn't get locked up. SK will step away. Big advantages, of course. They do have that Baron still running. They may move into mid.
And again, whenever Copenhagen Wolves are going for a kill, if it's onto Freddy, the rest of SK just move in a different lane, push on to the tower here. And we actually saw Copenhagen Wolves trying to chase a little bit, wanted to go for the fight. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw it.
It's all right. Nobody saw that Svensson. It's all good. He didn't miss his flag and drag. Straight in towards the pit. Carry on.
Right. Mazarin died very fast. I'm
Very
done.
fast, yes. I mean, well, I guess he kind of needs to on his Argos in there now. He's almost certainly the focus target. He's been fairly passive, but he's not been too bad. He didn't lose out his lane. Well, he lost his tower technically, so you could argue he did lose that lane. Blue buff will be picked up. He hasn't had that for a while, so that's going to help him out here. I think we may even see Woolite and Unlimited try and shove this top lane quickly while SK back away to try and take that tower down. It's brave play though. There's no vision for Woolite in that top lane. You can see Freddy already on the hunt.
And Freddy's so far ahead compared to Youngbuck. Just look at the items here. He's already going towards his 4th item, only 2 completed for Youngbuck. Of course, the kills, whenever they ganked it, actually went over to Airwax. They wanted him to get the kill on the Jax as well, so he could really become like a monster. However, he's still pretty far away. You only got Fell Flare and your Blade as your damage items and your Giant's Belt. That's it. I mean, you need a lot more. Trinity if you really want to do a lot of damage. Randuin's Omen if you want to be tanky. I mean, Airwax, because he's a jungle Jax, still far from his power spike.
Meanwhile, you look at the mid lane, compare them as well. Jezzers, of course, he's got himself the Void Staff now stacked on towards there. That Haunting guys came out very early on as well. SK still with the Baron up, but look at that. You can still see Mazarin
There's damage.
put a lot of damage down if he lands it in the right point, which is always the big risk when you pull Orianna out.
But this is again why Copenhagen Wolves need to be the team to start the fights, because they need Mazarin to put the ball on Youngbuck or Airwax. We talked about it again and again, and they need to jump in, shockwave, so you start the fight. If you wait for the Jarvan to engage onto you and you don't have an Hourglass or Flash, you're just an easy target for him to lock down, and then SK with Candy Panda, with Jess, is just going to pretty much one-shot you.
Well, this is the problem. Every time they pull them to one side, Jesus goes in, gets a couple of hits,
Nice
Svenskeren
shockwave.
pulled in, there's a shockwave intervention again, doing its job, blocking out any kill shot on Svenskeren. And again, SK step away, they're safe once again.
Safe and just pushing down again. Jess though, always going in, get a few hits, take some damage, back away, and no ulti from him. Freddy again.
Freddy on Airwax this time around. You talked about how he got himself that Giant's Belt. Is it going to be enough? Death Sentence could come in from Unlimited. Can lock in towards it. Freddy will go down. What's happening in the mid lane? They've got themselves another
Same
turret
deal.
down.
Again, it's the same every single time. Freddy, he's playing like Darien here, just pulls multiple members towards him, and they just take towers everywhere. So SK Gaming, they don't even care about him dying.
Yeah, and it's Freddy, of course, making the calls like, I'm going to draw everyone's focus in the top lane. Just take that turret out, will you? Another inhibitor turret goes down. Anyone with SK on their fancy points will be very happy because they really do it by the numbers. They'll take down every single turret in the game, and they'll take all the dragons and barons as they go. At the moment, they are in full control. And Copenhagen Wolves, well, it is a tough situation for them. Of course, Countard was ill. You know, he wasn't unable to play. Even as a player, you know, it's got to kill you not being able to play, watching your team, seeing them suffering as they are at the moment.
Oh, I mean, it must be the worst. You want to play every single game. I mean, when you talk to the players here, even though you're losing games, you still enjoy being in the LCS. You enjoy doing this as your job, so you want to play and you want to show, of course, what you practice every week, that you improve. And very, very sorry, of course, for Kautar that he's very sick.
Well, it's a 15,000 gold differential right now. SK Gaming, Candy Panda on the hunt. Airwax is a little deep in the lane on this one. Way out of position. He's going to get slowed down. Counter-Strike not really going to do its job. Oh, not sure Candy Panda wanted to be involved in this
Oh, a lot of damage, though.
But there is a lot of damage. Candy Panda gets out alive, though.
Still had heal as well, so it was fairly safe, but still a lot of damage from Airwax. He can really hit back, and now they're just going up towards this Baron.
Yeah, it's going to be spawning in 15 seconds. SK Gaming in position, and you can see Copenhagen Wolves can't get involved in this. The fact that the jungler just got taken down as well. No smite steals, no super mega death rockets, no mega inferno bombs, nothing able to launch itself into this Baron pit. Unless maybe an ultimate shockwave perfectly.
Just throw the ball from base and try to throw it.
he can't really get too far away. It's going to be a Baron for SK now.
And we can just see the same deal for them. Put Freddy in the top lane once again, push down towards the tower. Rest of the members stay either bot lane or mid lane. Can always move in. Remember, both inhibitor towers are gone, so it can go straight in, head onto the inhibitor. Can even go 5 members and just try and force a team fight.
This may well be the final push for SK Gaming. 5 members coming straight at the mid. Of course, no turret there. That was taken down a moment ago. So they're going to move straight on towards that
Candy
inhibitor.
Panda still.
Bottom one has respawned. Candy Panda comes in with the ambush. Svenskeren sliding in. Airwax jumps onto Candy Panda. Rat-a-tat-tat, just roaming him down though. No doubt about that one. Youngbuck's getting destroyed as well. You can see Freddy taking all of the culling damage and barely being touched. Unlimited getting slowed out there. That's going to be the inhibitor in the middle and the bottom. Freddy flashing, trying to get the stun on Woolite. Flag and drag. Svenskeren catches on towards him. Hooked him by the death sentence. Quick slide and defense from Enrated. It is going to be 1 kill for Mazarine, but that's all they're going to get. The Nexus turrets are falling. SK Gaming in a dominant performance will take down the Copenhagen Wolves here. They're going to get themselves some style points towards the end to try and get some kills. You can see Jesus wants to finish it, and that is SK. They're continuing. 2nd place for them, and another fine victory.
And a standard game for SK Gaming, taking every single tower, full focus on the map, of course, and taking it very slow. Early game, they did give up a few kills for Copenhagen Wolves, but then just said, you know what, we're done doing this. Only Freddy is now allowed to die, and therefore they just had full focus on taking down towers every time Copenhagen Wolves tried to kill Freddy. Still though, it's a very, very hard situation for the Wolves. You're playing with a sub in the mid lane, and at the same time, you're playing against one of the best teams in Europe. So credit to Copenhagen Wolves. They really had some good plays here. They tried to come back in the game, tried to get some kills on Airwax, on this Jax here, get him going, even though he was a jungle Jax. And it almost worked, but still SK Gaming were just too strong.
But I mean, you said it yourself. You look at the lane phase, the early kills that really started things going for SK. And you said it, you know, they just haven't played against the Jarvan for a while, and he kept sneaking in around that dragon pit, catching them off guard around the wards, and snuck in unseen and got 2 kills down for that bottom lane.
It's one of the annoying things about Jarvan, because there's so many places you have to walk, because you can just jump over the walls, get down in the bush here, and just sneak in or sneak onto you. So of course, Copenhagen Wolves, it's a tough situation. Again, it might have just been you didn't have a ward at the time because you could only afford 1 if you'd just been forced back. I mean, there are many situations where you couldn't have a ward at the dragon and therefore spot him out. But it did cost them a lot because they lost the mid lane straight up one-on-one. They lost the top lane, of course, with a Renekton expected. So it was all about this bottom lane. And the fact Svensson got a few kills early on made it so Candy Panda got into this mid-game point where he was very strong. He had Blade, he had Ghost Blade, and then going into the first Dragon fight, we saw it was him sitting in the back just destroying Copenhagen Wolves.
And Freddy, of course, still got his 100% record on Renekton.
Holding
still
on
happy with that one, making the calls, being the I don't know what you'd call him, the man at the top that keeps on dying. The proxy is what they love
Steady
to call
Freddy.
it, but sorry people, proxy doesn't mean what you think it is. No matter how strong you are in the English language, you're using the word wrong. That's a fact there. That's my little Kobe there for the moment. But what do we think overall? SK, of course, they were destroyed by Fnatic yesterday, looking good, but it was against the Copenhagen Wolves.
Sure, and also with a sub.
Yeah, a substitute Copenhagen Wolves. Copenhagen Wolves themselves, you know, they've said they had no expectations on this game. They're going to look at it and just say, yeah, well, you know, we gave it a shot. We weren't expecting too much. So I don't think they're going to be too downhearted about it.
We are in Europe, and teams lose and win left and right. You never know what's going to happen. So just the fact they actually pick up a win here against one of the lower ranked teams, it is actually very important. Because once they play Alliance, once they play Fnatic, we saw it against Fnatic yesterday, you can't expect to win every game against the top team. So you need to continue to beat the lower teams. Otherwise, there's just going to be someone like Alliance or Fnatic who's playing better now, who's just going to take your position and move up.
Speaking of positions, of course, Alliance dominant victory. not sure
Oh, really?
I could use that word. 23-minute victory, top of their table. We're going to talk to SK Gaming, who are hot on their heels. We're going to go over to Shox and Quickshot, who are standing by with Jezzers on his KL from SK.
Thank you very much, G-Man. Indeed, joined by Jesses when, well, it looked like you had something to make up for yesterday. What a game from you guys. Very explosive. Obviously, the Copenhagen Wolves were playing here with a sub, so did that change anything in the way you picked your mid-champion in this game?
I kind of knew he played Orianna. It's his most played champion. I've only seen him play Orianna, so I was kind of expecting him to play it because he had to blind pick his mid lane. So I was just simply waiting with my Kayle because I just pick Kayle against Orianna, and then it's just a farm war. Whoever farms best just gets the best out of it, like in team fights and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, it definitely seemed to work out. From a spectator point of view, that game felt very chaotic. It felt like there was action in every lane all the time. What was it that stemmed to the very aggressive champion interaction in this match?
I think we just picked strong laners and just pushed everywhere because like yesterday we got strong laners, but we got like lane swapped because we thought they were gonna lane swap. So it was pretty bad because we didn't get the lanes we wanted, and we kind of fell behind from that. So I guess we just wanted to prove that we could just stomp lanes and just get out from there.
Yeah, it was, as Trevor mentioned, very chaotic, and there was one very important moment where it could have gone either way. And we actually have a replay where we're going to play that moment out, as it was very important. You can put that replay up on the screen. And it was when you discovered that they were doing Baron, but we'll get there in just a second.
So we're going to roll this from the top lane view. Let's roll this clip out. Freddy's going to go down, but what was happening in your team communication? Because you're about to push bottom lane as well.
Yeah, like right now we're just talking about rotating from mid to bottom, and since they're two top, we can just do whatever we want. Like we can just go crazy on bot lane.
Now, who's calling in this point? Because Freddy's obviously under pressure, and you guys make a concerted effort at the tower. So what's the communication like in the team?
Well, we're just pretty chill here. I think it's just like Freddy's just, oh, they're too top. Can you just get something? And we're like, yeah, let's just go bottom and get that. But we know that they're on Baron, so we just take the bottom tower or like try. Actually, I'm moving towards Baron while they try to do bottom tower. I don't even know why they suicide here.
So is this a mistake from the rest of your team? Because you end up pushing up to Baron and getting some more kills. What could you have done better in this scenario?
I think they should just have backed out, kind of, because Orianna ult, like it's really hard to just siege on the tower when enemy has an Orianna with a ball just laying on the ground. And especially when we know that they're on Baron and I'm on my way towards Baron to stop them, they should definitely just have backed out because it was just plain overextending.
Okay, so a little bit of individual mistakes. I want to ask your opinion from the calling point of view, because that one obviously was a little messy from SK's side. Fnatic were put into a position where they had a calling issue in the base race against Alliance, just before your match. How do you deal with those pressure situations, and how do you prevent them happening in the future?
I think the Fnatic against Alliance match, like Fnatic just had some kind of brain lag or something. Like they just lagged out and they didn't even know what to do. So I think it's just those moments where you don't know what to do, so you're just waiting for someone to say something, and then no one's saying anything. So you just give them free objectives, and this is how it goes.
Yeah, well, in this game, maybe some other things we can touch on, actually, is the Jarvan pick coming in. Obviously, you're not a jungler, but why did Sven want to go to that champion? Obviously, a ton of jungle bans in the game.
There was a lot of jungle bans. So there was only kind of the Jarvan left, and then some random jungler picks like Jax or Yorick, for example, or whatever champion. But yeah, like Elise and Lee was banned out, so we just banned Evelyn because we knew they wanted to first pick Evelyn. So yeah, it was just pretty weird jungle picks.
Sven Skjern definitely put up a good show on Jarvan. It's one of the better Jarvan performances we've seen recently. I want to ask about your team in terms of itemization. I imagine in the team camp you talk about compositions, you talk about champion matchups. Freddy goes for a Blade of the Ruined King on Renekton. It's a little non-standard. Is this something you discuss as a team, or is this something you trust Freddy to make a decision on because it's his role?
It's definitely something we trust each other on. Like we expect everyone to know their own role, and I think the reason why he goes Blade is because he just wants to keep having the pressure 1v1 and just keep split pushing. So Blade of Ruined King is a really good item to 1v1 Shyvana, and that I think at least.
Yeah, and in good hands with Freddy, of course. One final question for you. This weekend, the loss to Fnatic, very convincing win here. What do you think of the team at this point? 4 weeks in the summer split. What are the general thoughts in your head?
I'm pretty confident. The loss against Fnatic was just kind of a flop. Like, everything just went wrong from how we had prepared everything, and we just went in and did completely the opposite, kind of. So, yeah, it was just kind of, I don't know. Like, I still feel confident. I still feel like we're one of the top teams, so it's not a big deal.
Just before we move on, who's going to win the World Cup?
I don't watch World Cup.
Oh, scumbag!
Yes.
Well, could have picked the country.
No, well, I hate spectating. I hate watching league, and I hate watching football. I hate watching
True
everything.
competitor.
Yeah.
Not on the pitch, doesn't count.
Exactly.
Nice. All right, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, we do remember you on a football field. That was also very impressive. Thank you very much. And now let's head back over to D&D at the desk for an update on the standings.
Thank you very much, Shocks. It's all right, Jesus. We know Denmark aren't in the World Cup. They didn't quite make it, did they? So, of course, at the end of week 4, here are the current standings. After the surprising turnaround win by Alliance, they remain in first place with 8 wins and 2 losses. But SK Gaming, they're still right behind them with 7 wins and 3 losses.
And at the bottom of the table, we have Rockhead, 3 wins and 7 losses. And the Copenhagen Wolves are now moved into last place at 2 wins and 8 losses.
So at the end of week 4, we have selected an OP lineup of players who really performed well this week. In the top lane for us, it was Kevin from Millennium. No surprises. Fantastic work from him. Played a rally on both games.
Yeah.
You can see he got that 5 KDA.
5 KDA was just solid all around, even though he had a few issues early on in his laning phase. Always managed to go into this team fight here. Very strong and always have a very big impact for Millennium.
In the jungle, well, it's another teammate of his. It's Kotnex. He had a 70.5 kill participation as Lee Sin. 31 of 44 kills played, of course. Lee Sin versus Elise and Lee Sin versus Evelyn.
Yeah, and both times he played Lee Sin, he followed Kerb around the map here, setting up kills over and over and over again. And the thing about Kotnex for me is, as long as he performs well early on, Millennium will always do well.
No surprises either in the mid lane. The man that he did follow around the map, it is Kerp, of course. 12, 3, and 18 KDA for the week. He played Twisted Fate in that first game. Fantastic stuff. And then Fizz against Kale. Against Twisted
Against Twisted Fate, yeah. He used the Fizz into the Twisted Fate and just destroyed him in the laning phase. Or not in the laning phase, sorry, but destroyed in the game itself. And as long as he gets a good early game, he will roam around, set kills up, or get kills everywhere, and we just saw it this week.
Well, sadly for Millennium fans, it's not going to be Kraton as AD carry because it's Reckless. He's the man we went for. 15 individual kills, the most this week, of course. He played Twitch in both those games. 10-1-10 or something like that.
5-0-2 in the last.
5-0-1, I think, in the last one there. Despite the fact his team lost the game, it was a fantastic performance by the AD carry.
He's such a strong Twitch player because he knows when he can roam, he knows when he can set up these one-on-one ganks here and pick up kills.
Needs to learn when to defend them.
True, should probably recall, but That's a team thing.
Of course, alongside him, it is his support, Yellowstar. He had a fantastic performance yesterday. 19 assists overall in that match. 20 KDA as Morgana versus SK Gaming. And of course, Braum today versus Thresh.
And we really saw him set up a lot of the kills for Reckless yesterday and then today on Braum here. Every time Cyanide came down for a gank, he would go in, get the stun onto Nif, pick up a kill for his AD carry, of course. So overall, just a very strong support performance and a strong week for the Fnatic dual lane, despite losing one game.
Well, out of those 5 players, we have to pick ourselves an MVP. This week, we've gone with Curb, the man in the middle for Millennium. He had a 14 KDA as Twisted Fate versus Kale, 8 KDA as Fizz versus Twisted Fate. Fantastic stuff from him.
Overall, he's just a player, when he performs, he can carry his entire team, and everyone from Millennium knows he's gonna back them up.
Well, we have 2 video clips that show off Curb's ability to make the plays happen for his team. Fantastic clips here. Check these out. You can see the first one was Fizz up against Darian.
Yeah, he doesn't even need his ulti. He's actually so close to Darian. It's very hard to hit the Fizz when you just spot on him.
He doesn't need it. He missed it. But nevertheless, this was when he came in. Mr. Rales was creating problems for them throughout the game. Of course, that was the early kill. Gets in there, stuns him out. Fantastic performance by Kurt once again.
And the best thing about this kill was it set Mr. Rales so far behind that he was actually under level. He didn't even get his blade early on, and it simply also meant for Curb. He just kept jumping towards him over and over, killing him and carrying the entire game.
Everybody's going to be happy if they took him out of the Fantasy League points because he had a bad week last week. Everyone took him out, and this week he shines.
Didn't he do like 40 points in the last day?
Yeah, fantastic stuff, fantastic stuff. So week 4 of the LCS Summer Split continues tomorrow in North America, of course, as Team Solar Mid will be facing off against Cloud9. Cracking opening game there. Then it's going to be followed by Evil Geniuses versus LMQ.
Then Team Dignitas will go up against Curse, and Counter Logic Gaming will take on Complexity. And after the LCS games conclude, the North American Challenger Series semifinals will continue with Fang Gaming versus Team LOL Pro. And those matches will begin on Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European Summer Time, 12 noon Pacific.
And of course, the European LCS will pick up at a new time in a very special place next Saturday as we hit the road and head to London's SSE Arena at Wembley for week 5. We're going to be kicking off the day with the European Challenger Series finals where Alex Hitch and the Ninjas in Pajamas will be facing off the winner of today's semi-final match, which will be happening in just a moment. And then the European LCS will immediately follow, starting out with SK Gaming versus Alliance. Then it's going to be the Super Hot Crew versus Copenhagen Wolves.
And then we're going to have Millennium, who's going to take on Rocket, and we'll end our first day in England with Gambit Gaming versus Fnatic. And the action begins at 2 p.m. British Summer Time, which is 3 p.m. Central European Summer Time, which of course is 6 a.m. Pacific.
Many time zones. That of course wraps it up for us today. We'll see you next Saturday in London. And now it is time for our European Challenger Series semi-final as H2K Gaming square off against Lublin Shore, with the winner heading to London.
Stop teasing them. Rockout looking for the first tower of the game. They're going to get it as well as a dot binding. Landing onto Impale, they chain the CC, and Yankos gets that kill.
If anyone asks, we prepared a lot for this game, okay?
We'll go maybe then Graves, Braum. How is that lane?
Mandy.
Slow it down, but have they got the damage? They do now. Kevin's there, and he gets the kill onto Genja. Diamond going to be headed up on the other side, and this is going to be an ace for Millennium.
Froggen's going to try and sneak in. Cyanide in there. There comes Shook around the corner. They'll have the cocoon. Cyanide goes down.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Airwax manages to lock that up. Jez is taken low. Youngbuck flashes in, takes down Jez, and Rated now locked low. That's going to be another turnaround kill. Mazarine goes down to Candy Panda with Ratatat running on towards Youngbuck. Freddy getting involved. He's a huge, gigantic crocodile, and he's all up in Copenhagen's face.
Brown. In it, get in.
Get in. Triff is still back. I'm gonna aim to base.
TF ulti. He's bot.
Finish again. Okay.
Yeah, I killed Shyvana. Yeah, finish again. Again. Go ham.
Everything on the tower.
Look at
those guys banding together like an alliance or something. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 2014 European Challenger Series, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I'm David Freak Turley. Alongside me is Aiden Zyrene Moon. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. There's some giddy schoolgirl laps that are going on at the end with the base race.
Those were higher pitched than I expected from those players, but you know what? It worked.